Chapter 2 Improv. The idea behind improv is to help rehabilitate those with a troubled past and ex cons who may be having a hard time transitioning back into society. This rehabilitation process is not only extended to ex cons but also to at risk teens who may need a positive creative outlet to express themselves freely. In addition to having an outlet to express themselves, they get paid for their performances as well as gained exposure. I do my part by hiring ex cons because they have a hard time assimilating back into society. And from Thursday to Saturdays, my jazz club is open to teens and anyone who wants to sing a song, read poetry, or share poetry they have written. In addition, we have a segment for talented artists to do live portraits, as well as a three-piece band setup for aspiring musical groups, Philip said. So, what I gather from what you are saying, Mr. Kelly, is that you're the complete opposite of your father. You sound to me like a man who is kind, caring, and compassionate. You, Mr. Kelly, are a humanitarian. You care about the well being of your fellow man. You don't sound like a man who is capable of murder. In fact, the only reason why you're on the stand is because of your relation to Gerard Kelly, your father. Now, not to speak ill of the deceased, but Gerard Kelly didn't have the most reputable past. And yes, he made some mistakes, and unfortunately, then in a loud outburst, the district attorney flew up from his seat and shouted, "Objection, Your Honor! Mr. Abbott is trying to manipulate this court into feeling sorry for Gerard Kelly as to make light of Mr. Kelly's actions and committed offenses." "Your Honor," exclaimed Mr. Abbott, "Gerard Kelly is not on trial. Furthermore, he was never convicted of any crime he was accused of." "Your Honor, Bruce is conveniently leaving out the insurmountable details that surrounded Gerard Kelly, who is known to be an illegal lender and crime boss," the district attorney stated. "Overruled, Mr. Montgomery. That is highly speculative, and you of all people know that no court operates on speculation. Mr. Abbott, please continue," Judge Watkins commanded. Then, fixing his tie, Mr. Abbott said, "Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Mr. Montgomery's attempt to denigrate my client's deceased father was nothing more than a juvenile ploy, and it lacked relevance. So let me bring it home with this question. Should a man be punished for the sins of his father?" With murmurs coming from the members of the jury, Mr. Abbott skillfully played on the reactions of the jury and asked, "Philip, after going through the experience of being arrested and now going through this proceeding, do you feel like you were being targeted because of your father?" "Yes," Philip answered. "And why is that?" Mr. Abbott inquired. "Because throughout this whole experience, my father's name and reputation keep getting thrown in my face. Having the name Kelly makes me a prime suspect," Philip answered. "Philip, were you close to any of the victims in any form or fashion?" Mr. Abbott said. "No, I wasn't. Not even with Andrea, who was my best friend's girlfriend. We never hanged or went out. No type of animosity. It was just professional courtesy," Philip answered. "Philip, please tell the court, how many times have you been arrested, if any?" Mr. Abbott exclaimed. "Mr. Abbott, I've never been arrested before, nor have I ever been in any problems with the law," Philip answered eloquently. "Thank you, Philip. Your Honor, members of the jury, my client is a model citizen. He has never been arrested, nor has he been in any problems concerning the law, and he is also a humanitarian. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, ask yourself, does this really sound like a man who would out of the blue start a killing spree?" Mr. Abbott explained. After the first court hearing was adjourned, Philip goes to his jazz club, takes a seat, and orders a drink. As Philip begins to relax in the lounge area, his cell phone rings. Happy to see a friendly number displaying on the cell, Philip gleefully answers his cell phone and exclaimed, "Hey, Kay, what's up?" "Just checking to see how the first day of court went. I know it must have been rough," Caleb replied. "Yeah, it was. That district attorney had a lot to say, but I'm not trying to think about him or court. Right now, I'm just simply at the club having a drink and listening to this guy, Billy B, on the saxophone. He's pretty good, and he may just be the club's lucky charm. Anyway, tell me about how things are going at GM, and how are things with Sophie?" Philip asked. With a happy sigh of relief, Caleb replied, Things couldn't be better. Mr. Blackwell shows me a great deal of respect. He values my opinions. When I walk into the room, I get nothing but respect. Everyone be like, "Morning, afternoon, Mr. Renner." No matter what conversation they're in, the moment I show up, it's like all eyes on me. I don't know what the other Caleb did, but I like it. He laughed. Then, referring to Sophie, Caleb's demeanor changed and he said, "Everything with Sophie has been wonderful, except lately, she just seems to be elsewhere. I can't explain it, but it is something to do with that theologian center. Lately, she has been spending a lot of her time there. I think it has something to do with her father and that religion he was involved in. In fact, she left a while ago to go there."